In a world where our major social media influencers and our major media organizations are completely disconnected from reality, they are devoid of truth, they don't care about the facts, it is extremely hard not to lose hope when covering the types of stories that I'm covering. I mean, think about it. How many times on this channel have I gone over the Michael Brown case? How many times on this channel did I refer people to the Department of Justice report on Michael Brown, which was done under Eric Holder's office under the Obama administration? How many times did I tell people they don't even have to read the whole report? All they have to do is go over the first 6 pages and they will know everything they need to know on why Officer Darren Wilson told the truth and why the myth of Mike Brown is just that, a myth. The forensic analysis is all there. It's 100% legit. Brown did not have his hands up. There is no evidence of that. There is forensic evidence that directly contradicts that. Brown attacked Officer Darren Wilson. We have the forensic evidence to show that. Brown charged Darren Wilson when Darren Wilson fired the fatal shots at him. Again, all of this has been known for years, and yet the myth still persists. We actually elected a congresswoman who ran on the lies of Michael Brown. She's in Congress right now. And it's not just the Michael Brown case. The lies permeate throughout all the major cases that we're battling about as a nation. The Breonna Taylor case, we just had the 1-year anniversary riots related to her death. People still believe that on that fateful night, the police executed a no-knock warrant on an apartment which was the wrong address on the warrant, and they killed Breonna Taylor in her sleep. People don't even know that her boyfriend shot the police officer first and they returned fire. People don't even know that Breonna Taylor's name, date of birth, and social security number, along with a picture of her door, was on the search warrant, thus making it the right place. People don't even know that the police had a 100% justification to search her apartment in connection with the drug operation that they were following. They just believe the myth, and our nation suffers as a consequence of it. George Floyd is another perfect example of this. People saw the video of Officer Chauvin putting his knee on his neck, that fateful cell phone video, and that was uncontested out in the public for 2 months, so people already formed their opinions as we were watching our nation burn before we saw the additional evidence. Try to convince somebody to watch the full body cam footage, which was released 2 months later, in its overall context, where they'll see that George Floyd was complaining about breathing issues well prior to even being put on the ground, let alone the officer's knee on his neck. Try to explain to people that, again, in that same body cam footage, the officers expressed concern about George Floyd's health and are consistently asking him what he took and why he's panicking so much. They were so concerned about him going into excited delirium syndrome and potentially dying that they called the ambulance for him well before they put him on the ground. Now, this is all true. The video is out there. I will link it in the description. It will show you exactly what you need to see, but people aren't interested in that. They saw what they thought they saw on the cell phone video. Therefore, they believe that Officer Derek Chauvin 100% killed George Floyd. It doesn't matter that the autopsy report shows no fatal injuries to George Floyd's neck and shows a lethal level of fentanyl in George Floyd's system, among other drugs. It doesn't matter at all, one bit, to any of the people in mainstream media, any of the people that are out there destroying these cities, that the symptoms starting before the knee and the fact that there were no injuries that are fatal to the neck found at autopsy and that there was a fatal amount of fentanyl in his system would lead us to believe that George Floyd was actually ODing at the time that he was resisting arrest from the police officers, and that he likely would have died even without the knee being placed on his neck. You think that matters to people? They got their narrative, they got their marching orders, and Keith Ellison suppressing that body cam footage for over 2 months made sure that that was seared into the brains of the American public. So needless to say, after this sequence of events has repeated itself so often that it's beyond my ability to even count, I was not hopeful when one of the first things to come out in relation to the shooting was Nika Holbert's mother saying that my daughter would do absolutely nothing of the sort.
This mother has more questions than answers tonight.
The people standing across the street at the gas station was telling me that the police had fired into a car 7 times and shot a girl. As far as I'm concerned, the police killed my daughter. And I want to know how this went from being pulled over, the tags weren't expired, The car didn't belong to her.
Holbert's mother says she cannot reconcile the details reported by police with who she knew her daughter to be.
My daughter was a good girl. I'm not understanding, how did this turn into a shooting and all it was you pulled her over because you're looking for the person the car belonged to. That's my issue. And they need to tell me, they need to explain it to me, like I'm a fourth grader, tell me why is my daughter dead.
No way she fired upon that white officer. That white officer is definitely lying, and I demand an investigation into this because we need to know what really happened.
While it was 31-year-old Nika Holbert who was behind the wheel, the TBI said that she, too, has a lengthy criminal history. She faced charges for drug and traffic violations as well as forgery. But to date, nothing violent was on the woman's police record.
I was already ready for what was going to happen. I was ready for people in Nashville to go out in force and break into stores and steal expensive items in the name of civil liberties for black people, because the only way to get back at evil white racists is to steal expensive stuff for yourself, as we've seen throughout this past year. However, that didn't happen. Something changed in Nashville, Tennessee. Something was done that usually is never done. They took the opposite tactic that Keith Ellison took up in Minneapolis.
I'm Don Aaron with the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department. This is a video news release concerning an exchange of gunfire between a woman and a Metro police officer on Friday morning, March 12th. The officer was wounded and is hospitalized. The woman was fatally wounded and died at a local hospital. You are about to see body-worn and in-car camera footage so that you can have a better understanding of what occurred based on what we know up to now.
They released the video same day, before the rioters could gather and organize and plan their destruction of Nashville, Tennessee. The Metro Nashville Police Department released the video. Full transparency, showed the world what actually happened at that day and didn't give people room to speculate. They didn't give race grifters like Shaun King and the Young Turks and all these other lefties that love pushing division in our society the chance to put forward their false narrative. And what ended up happening? Everybody calmed down. People saw the video for themselves. They saw the officer acting cordially and kindly to this woman.
Just bring your bag out here. Ma'am, stop going through it. You can step right back here. What did you take out of it?
Nothing. I was
Okay. All right, listen. Just come back here. I think we're getting off on the wrong foot, okay?
Because I'm really confused on why I'm getting stopped.
He's got several warrants.
Okay, that has nothing to do with me.
You don't know who's in the car.
Nobody's in our car.
Well, now I know that. However, now I'm going to address the other problems.
Okay, so you want my bag and all my belongings.
So just step right back here.
Can I use the restroom?
And let you know it's being audio and video recorded, just to let you know.
Okay.
Lets her smoke a cigarette. He lets her go into her car, even though it's a security risk to him to get herself a lighter, even though she's driving a car that's owned by a known criminal with multiple felony warrants against him.
Yeah, I'm not done with that though. Where's your lighter at?
In the car.
13. It says you're about 7 minutes away.
I'll get it for you in a second, okay?
So you would drive
right there in your
at the Dollar General. Can I have you start from 23?
Even though this woman has admitted to multiple crimes to this officer, like driving with a suspended license or without a license and possession of narcotics. Even though this officer actually found stronger narcotics than the one that she admitted to having in her purse upon the search that she consented to. Everything this officer could have done to be cordial and respectful to this woman was not rewarded by her, because when she saw where things were going, that she was going to actually be arrested for the crimes that she actually committed, she decided to go into her car, get a gun, and shoot this officer in the chest. This officer that treated her so kindly, with so much respect, despite the fact that she was driving a car, again, of a multiple-time felon, and she was committing several crimes while doing so.
Here, do me a favor, turn.
No, hold
Turn
on.
around.
Don't put me in handcuffs. I haven't done anything wrong.
Ma'am.
No, don't put me
You're about to get paid.
Now, I can't show you this video once it starts getting violent. I can't show you even a blurred version so you could hear the audio of this video once it starts getting violent, because YouTube's terms of service don't treat channels like mine the same way that they treat supposedly authoritative sources. Even though I've gone after these supposedly authoritative sources and disproved absolutely everything that they present about cases like this, I'm just not authoritative enough in order to cover this and give you that information. But it will be linked in the description of this video, and I definitely recommend you go check out that original video because the reaction to it is fantastic. You look at the like to dislike ratio on this video and it's not even close. You go to the comments of this video and it's even better. You have people with black avatars, who I have no reason to assume aren't black people, saying that this isn't a close call. This woman was 100% in the wrong, and the world would be a better place if officers treated people the way that this officer treated her. It's honestly a reprieve. It's a breath of fresh air to see this kind of reaction to what is obviously a justified shooting, because when I was first sent this story by my girlfriend the day that it broke, hours after it broke, before the body cam footage was out there, they were already setting the stage to make Nika Holbert the next Breonna Taylor. We were going to be hearing, had the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department not released this body cam footage and dash cam footage same day, about how this woman is the next person. We have to learn her name. We have to say her name because she was wronged by the white racist patriarchy that's in our country. And we're going to have LeBron James come out there and say, black women are the most mistreated people in all of our society, blah, 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 but also Chinese government, you're amazing, and I criticize nothing that you do. Thank God for your human rights violations. Please keep paying me. But the truth in this case actually beat out the lie. The facts of this case actually took over the narrative before the myth was even fully formed by all of these regressive race hustlers that were just itching for another case to stamp their name on and fundraise off of. This is a great story. Obviously, somebody dying is terrible. It's tragic. But the aftermath, the outcome of this, is something that we should all look to as an example for something that can bring us hope. That just because we've seen fake story and lie after lie go around the world and stain the minds of our population doesn't mean that has to be the case. If every police department acted in the way that Tennessee's Metro Police Department in Nashville acted in this story, then we wouldn't have had the Black Lives Matter riots before. If the Minneapolis PD actually released their body cam footage same day to conflict with the cell phone video, then the narrative would have been able to be changed. Then there might have been hope for that city. There might have been hope for the country that we didn't have to go through the $2 billion in terrorism from the left wing in this nation for all those months. Every single department in this country needs to learn from the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department's example here. And if you have laws that forbid you from putting out the body cam footage, then you need to find a way to leak it to the press before the narrative takes hold and strangles out the truth. Look, I am super hyped that we are near 100,000 subscribers on this channel, and I'm so grateful to all of you who come to me for information and case breakdowns that have made this possible over the last 4 or 5 years, however long I've been doing this channel on this platform. But let's be honest, if it's up to me, if you are getting the mainstream narrative from every other platform, every other YouTube channel except for this one, that's not going to change the culture. That's not going to have the impact that reality being portrayed more broadly does. If you're in a police department, you need to take note of this. If you're a citizen, you need to take note of what's going on in your police department, because if they have rules that prevent the police from defending themselves from the defamatory attacks of the press, then those rules will be used to hurt your department and by extension hurt your community. You have to get on top of this. This is something that every department needs to have in their playbook in order to fight back against the misinformation. You can't beat Sean King's 1 million followers unless you can get the truth out there. You can't beat the Young Turks propaganda machine unless you can get the truth out there. You can't beat CNN, MSNBC, and every single mainstream outlet unless you basically become your own outlet and you can publish your own information. But all in all, this story should give us hope because the media, the regressives, they were all lining up to make this another Breonna Taylor. And now this is just another Breonna Taylor that will never be a Breonna Taylor. And that is a good thing for us, and it's a good thing for our country. I'm gonna close by wishing Metropolitan Nashville Police Officer Josh Baker a speedy recovery. He was wounded by this woman after giving her absolutely every chance to comply, and hopefully he makes a full recovery and can be back on the force. This is the kind of police officer we need. This is the officer that serves the community, a guardian of the Republic, and he deserves our respect. And I'm so glad that the media wasn't able to turn him into another Chauvin, another Darren Wilson. It's absolutely disgusting what goes on in our society, and when officers do the right thing, that should be recognized. But hey, those are just my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you like this video, then please show me by leaving a like. You can subscribe for more content. You can follow me on all my social medias. They are linked in the description. You can come see me out in person April 24th at the Better Discourse 2 event. Link will also be in the description for that. This has been me talking about Breonna Taylor 2 that never was Breonna Taylor. Till next time.